I thought my love story with Clara was the kind you read about in books. We met in college, two bright kids with dreams bigger than our tiny dorm rooms. For 10 years, she was my everything. My morning coffee, my late-night calls, the reason for every smile. I built my world around her brick by brick, with memories and laughter. I was so sure, so ridiculously sure, that we were endgame. But life has a funny, often cruel way of derailing the best-laid plans. It started subtly. And a new kind of distance in her eyes that I couldn't quite bridge. I tried to ignore the gnawing feeling in my gut. I told myself I was being paranoid, that long-term relationships have their ebbs and flows. I loved her. I trusted her. That was supposed to be enough. The truth came crashing down on a rainy Tuesday. I'd left work early to surprise her, planning a cozy night in. As I walked up to our apartment, I saw them through the window, Clara and my supposed best friend Mark. They weren't just talking.
Oh.
The scene is seared into my memory, a picture of betrayal so vivid it still steals my breath. My world didn't just crack, it shattered into a million unrecognizable pieces. The man I called brother and the woman I planned to call my wife. In our home, I didn't storm in. I didn't scream. I just turned around and walked away, the rain mixing with the silent tears streaming down my face. That night I felt a kind of cold I'd never known. It was the death of a future, the death of trust. The man who walked out into that storm was not the same one who had walked up to that door just minutes before. For weeks, I was a ghost. I moved into a small, sterile apartment and went through the motions of living. I'd wake up, go to work, come home, and stare at the ceiling. The anger was a roaring fire inside me, but it was blanketed by a heavy layer of grief. I wanted to scream, to break things, to make them feel even a fraction of the pain I was drowning in. But what good would that do? It wouldn't unring the bell, wouldn't piece my heart back together. One sleepless night, scrolling endlessly through my phone, an idea began to form. It wasn't about shouting or confrontation, it was about precision. Mark was a rising star at a prestigious financial firm. He loved bragging about his new promotion, his big clients, his flawless reputation. It became clear what their weak point was, their carefully constructed public image. My plan wasn't born from malice, but from a desperate need for justice, for the scales to be balanced. I started digging, not into their personal lives, but into their professional ones. At the time, I dismissed it as locker room talk, arrogant puffery. Now, I wondered. I pieced together fragments of conversations, old emails I was copied on, and public records. It was slow, painstaking work. I learned about shell corporations and offshore accounts. It turned out Mark wasn't just bending the rules, it was shattering them. He was literally stealing from the people he was supposed to be helping, all to fund his lavish lifestyle with Clara. The evidence was damning. It was a complex web, but I had the thread. I compiled everything into a neat, anonymous package: transaction records, email chains, corporate filings. It was a complete story of his fraud, undeniable and explosive. Now for the delivery. I could have sent it to the authorities, and I did consider it. But that felt too impersonal. I wanted them to know. I wanted them to see the fallout of their actions up close. Mark's firm held a huge annual charity gala, a glittering event where the city's elite came to pat themselves on the back. It was the pinnacle of their social and professional calendar. Mark and Clara would be there, the picture-perfect power couple. This was my stage. I sent the package to 3 people. The first was the CEO of Mark's firm. The third, and this was the masterstroke, was Mark's biggest rival at the firm, a man named Henderson, who I knew would stop at nothing to see Mark fall. I timed the delivery for the exact afternoon of the gala. That evening, I didn't go to the gala. Instead, I sat in a quiet bar across the street, watching the black cars pull up. I imagined the scene inside. The hushed whispers starting, the panicked looks. I imagined the CEO pulling Mark aside, the journalist's camera crew arriving for a comment, Henderson circling like a shark. I imagined Clara's flawless makeup starting to run as she realized the glamorous life she had betrayed me for was built on a foundation of lies and was crumbling around her. The news broke the next morning. It was everywhere. Financial whiz kit exposed and massive charity fraud. Mark's face was plastered on every news site. He was fired, disgraced, and under federal investigation. His assets were frozen. The beautiful life he had stolen to build was gone. Clara called me hysterical. She cried, she apologized, she begged. Now that his ship was sinking, she was trying to swim back to my lifeboat. I listened to her, calm and quiet. When she was finally done, I said only one thing, "Goodbye, Clara." And I hung up. I blocked her number and never looked back. Some might call what I did revenge, and maybe it was. But to me, it felt like balancing the books. It wasn't about destroying their lives out of spite. It was about revealing the truth they tried so hard to hide. They didn't just cheat on me, cheated on their principles, on their community, on themselves. I simply pulled back the curtain. The funny thing is, the satisfaction wasn't in their downfall. It was in my own rebuilding. Closing that chapter, as painful as it was, allowed me to finally start writing a new one. I took the money I'd saved for the ring, and I bought a plane ticket. I traveled. I met new people, saw new cultures, and rediscovered the person I was before my identity became half of a we. I learned that true strength isn't about how hard you can hit back. It's about how you get back up. Heart was broken, yes, but it wasn't destroyed. It healed, stronger and wiser. I found love again, a real love built not on grand gestures and fake promises, but on honesty, respect, and quiet mornings with coffee. And this time, I know it's the kind of love that lasts. My story with Clara was a tragedy, but the story of my life? It's just getting to the best part. Thanks for listening to my story. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories. See you next time.